Yo, what's good everybody? Welcome back to another weekly outlook on gold and on NAS100. As always, we'll start off on gold here. And as you guys can see, we're still clearly in a bullish trend, closing a strong bullish candle on the weekly. So coming into this week, obviously, we could anticipate a continuation of this bullish momentum. Now on the daily time frame, we have created a form of market structure where now we have some areas to place our support and resistance ranges, which the first one will be this daily support range down here at the 25.58 range. As you guys can see, we got a nice break out of that range. We got a pullback right here, reject it, and then continue the bullish impulse. So that's when we see that this here is a valid support zone that has been created, or high or low, however you want to see it. And then over here, we've also seen that price rejected a few times before breaking out of this range again. So this is a valid resistance range, making this entire range a daily range where obviously if we want to take and look for high probability trades, we want to wait for price to pull back in one of these major zones so we could take a higher probability trade back to the upside or below to the downside. So now we're going to go back down to the 4-hour time frame. We can basically see the same, just a little clearer on price action. As you guys see here, we had this nice support range where it touched once and twice. It also rejected the 50 EMA, and right after we saw this huge bullish impulse to the upside, also form of a double bottom over here. And then here on the top, we see this bunch of rejections and wicks, also this news wick over here, where price was struggling to actually break above. We ended up breaking above, coming back for that retest right here, and then we got that push to the upside. So ideally now, when we scale it lower, let's say to the 1-hour time frame, what I really want to see happen this week is for price to come like all the way back down into this 25.87 range. Also fill out this imbalance on the 1-hour time frame, tap and reject somewhere here, and then continue higher. That is going to be the high probability play for me, especially if I'm going to be looking to take buys. Obviously I want to wait for a pullback, and I want to wait for the highest probability area to be taking those buys. Now obviously I've also marked off some 1-hour ranges, which is this 1-hour support range here and this 1-hour resistance up here, where ultimately I'm not really putting a lot of emphasis behind just because it's the 1-hour time frame. But when we compare a 1-hour time frame range with a daily range, obviously the daily range will have more power, and with it a higher probability of the trade playing out. So ultimately I want to wait for price to pull back into this range. So it's either going to reject at this minor 4-hour and 1-hour range right here, or it's going to come all the way back down to 25.86 and then reject here and give us an entry over here. Or if we start breaking back under here, honestly, I don't know if I would be interested in taking sells from this point to this point. Ultimately, this comes up to the price action itself, to the volume. If there's a lot of bearish volume and this happens during New York session, then I wouldn't be opposed to like a short-term sell, medium probability from this point to this point on. But then again, I will be switching my mindset to the high probability play, which ultimately will be a bounce play down here at the major daily support range, where we could definitely see another bullish impulse to the upside. Now, if price continues creating new all-time highs, here's where I'm most likely going to stay away from the market. I'm not really a fan of, trying to buy when we're already at an all-time high. I must wait for price to create some form of market structure, some form of pullback, especially on the higher time frames, so I could be safer on getting on a position. So for example, right here, there's nothing really I could take. We are literally in the extension leg right here. So I gotta wait for a pullback leg and then hope and wait for an entry so I can then take the extension to the previous highs or to new highs, right? That's really what I want to wait for. I want to wait for it to get in at this point, and I'm not interested in getting in on the highs. It just doesn't make any sense, right? So yeah, guys, that's basically my take here on gold. Obviously, if we start creating a strong resistance up here, let's say it's a daily 4-hour resistance and price just struggles to break through. Now here is a different game. When we get a break and retest, that's when I will be interested in taking buys. But then again, short term, because we don't know at what point price will reverse. And now talking about reversal, if we look at the daily time frame, we see that price has been super bullish, and whatever goes up must come down. So we could expect that this week we might get a steeper pullback, like at least into 25.87. If we start breaking back under here, then I see it coming back to 25.58, and if we start breaking down here, then I do see price coming back to the 25.29 range over here to fill out this entire imbalance, since it hasn't been filled yet. So basically, the moment we start breaking structure on the low time frames, such as the 1-hour, 4-hour, we can also take advantage of a little higher probability sells, because now we will see that price is breaking structure to the downside. So with it, the probabilities will be switching for a short period of time to sells, from which we can also profit from. But yeah, guys, that's my breakdown on gold. Let's hop on over NAS real quick. I'm not actively trading NAS right now. I'm just, hovering over it from here and there, just looking at it, analyzing it. So I'm going to try and break this down for you guys real quick for my NAS traders out there. So when we're looking at the weekly, we just created new higher highs. We did break structure to the upside. We created a double bottom on the weekly here. So we are very much bullish. Let me actually clone this here as well up into this weekly. Then we'll go down to the daily time frame. Yeah, I'm just gonna mark this off real quick here, guys. So I'm gonna readjust this here, right here, and let's put another one down here. Okay, so as long as price maintains above the 19.572 range right here, as long as we can maintain above, I still see the potential for price continuing higher. Now we are at an equal high right now on the daily time frame. So let me actually clone this here as well, since here's a zone as well right here. So we want to wait for either a pullback into the 19.572 or a break and retest right above the 19.851, a pullback, so you can take buys back up into these highs up here, which I'll put at 20.46, somewhere around this range. Now this overall, buys will be with the high probability, because the weekly is bullish, the daily is clearly bullish, and I'm guessing the 4-hour is, the 4-hour is also bullish, right? So overall, the trade probabilities will be with buys. You do want to wait for price to be at a discount, so it's probably going to be somewhere down here. With it, the EMA will kind of scoop price as well, so you can have a higher probability bounce play to the upside or break and retest, however you want to call this. But I'm mainly bullish. Now the moment we start breaking, closing back under the 19.566, I do see price coming back down into the 19.362-ish range. If we start breaking these lows here as well, I see it coming back down to 19.149 or 19.150 range, right? But yeah, like I said, I'm overall bullish on NAS. I'm overall bullish on gold. At the end of the day, we got to react and adapt and see what the market presents us in the moment, in the session, and then adjust accordingly and adjust your setup and your strategy accordingly. So that's it from me today, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the weekly outlook, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.